Okay. Hey guys, me again, Away Day. You probably know me as Curtis. Hey, I really wanted to make that last video like 20 minutes and it came out about an hour, so I think I'm gonna delete it. I want to redo it. I'm in the morning now, so I can listen to things a bit louder on the big old setup. And then I also had some weird, some audio issues. It seems like there's a bit of delay with my push to talk, so it's like if I push it and I'm playing music, the things would get kind of fucked. So I'm gonna try this time to have that hopefully not happen. That way, you know, you can follow my voice to the video. But without further ado, I'm gonna kind of do the same video I just did. All right. So I want to remind you guys, if you are exporting on Ableton, okay. I'm gonna start because I didn't do this last time, and I think this might actually be important. I'm not sure. But go into your preferences, I guess, and go to record warp launch. Oh, this is for me. This is just for me. Okay, don't worry about it then. Don't worry about it. Anyways, Ableton Warp is weird. I don't believe in it. Okay, next up. When you're exporting, okay, I want you to select the whole track, Control A, and then render it. And when you do render, click this drop down and click all individual tracks. This will track it out for me. It will give me your stems. I like to call it tracking out, but it will give me your stems, and then I can just put those into FL Studio super easily. Make sure your render length is the entire song. That's why you do Control A, I guess. And then on top of that, turn create an analysis file off. You can turn it off for me. I don't need that, but if you're giving it to another Ableton producer, maybe leave that. I don't know. That should be it. This is also part of it. I think this is a newer Ableton Live 10 or something. Is that write all individual tracks and then also include return and master effects. So, you know, include all your effects and, you know, the sends and returns and all that stuff. I don't know how to produce. Just send me your tracks. They will end up in a folder that looks like this. They'll all be the same length of the song, even if it's 2 hi-hats. It will be a 2-minute file with hi-hats around whatever point. That makes it so when I import it into FL, it's super easy. Speaking of FL, if you were doing this, oh, was I even showing my window there? I'm not even sure. I might have to restart this. Okay, fantastic. You can see my window. That's great. Okay. So, in FL, it's just as simple. You go File, Export, WAV file, or MP3, whatever the hell you do. Put it in a new folder. This will make it a lot easier so that you don't crowd your desktop. Put it in a new folder. Name it whatever. I don't care. Save. Once you're in here, you're going to click Song Selection. It should already do that. And then down here, you're going to want to click Split Mixer Tracks. Okay? Same process. So I want you to split all the tracks that are on your mixer here, send them to me. That means that if something's not routed to the mixer, I won't get it. So make sure everything is routed into the mixer. And then this will split all those tracks and send them to me with all the effects on them. Don't turn this off. I want your effects. I want your reverb and your delay and all that. Okay, sound good? So how are we doing on time? That was probably like 5 minutes or so. Yeah. Okay. Next process is, this process took like 45 minutes last night and it made the video super long. So I'm just gonna, it's already here. I'm gonna start talking about it. So, I did this last night where I exported, what is it? This folder into FL and then cleaned it up. There was some copies, some things got sent to multiple channels, so really I only needed the final channel in the chain. No biggie, that's the process that I worked through of figuring out what exactly you needed and what you didn't need, and what's pre-effects and what's post-effects. No worries, the more files, the better. The more information means I can kind of determine what the heck your mix was. Combined with the fact that a master mix should be sent. This should be included in every file. makes it super easy for me to reference what you're going for. So I think real quick what we're going to do is we're going to listen to that. I'm going to mute myself. Hopefully this thing doesn't start bugging out on me. I don't know, the muting thing's weird. But I'm going to mute myself, and I'm going to play out the song with no mastering on it, okay? And I think I'll also open up Minimeters. Oh no, I didn't. Okay. Sorry, I thought I forgot to mute myself, so I was about to panic. That was with the master. I forgot to realize, so it came out at like -2 left. So let me turn the Okay, cool. Not bad. So then what I'm going to do is everything's been separated. So this master has been separated into all of these tracks right here. You know, strings, vocals, synth, kick, snares, all that stuff. So what I've done here, I couldn't really figure out the BPM. I think this might actually be halftime or something. So it might be at, you know, 80, 85 type stuff. Anyways, I don't really need the BPM for this to work. I just added on a kick, wherever a kick hits, kind of in the style that I do. This helps keep the break super punchy, and having the kick like cut through the break, combined with low cutting the break so there's no kick in it, it means that we have a modern kick on a break, and it sounds great in my opinion. So other than doing the extra process of mixing, because I'm not supposed to do too much mixing in this, I'm just mastering, I'm gonna mute myself and start going through it. Last night I did this and I realized it came out probably just a little bit too loud. No worries. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tame it down just a wee bit more, and real quick, while I'm at it, not to complain, but this is the bass line right here. And in my opinion, the bass should stay the same volume or go lower. We have an issue here where the drop hits and the bass is at whatever volume that is, and then we come over here and the bass starts to get a bit louder. I don't know if you can see that. It gets louder and then it gets quiet. Now, we all love dynamics, we all love a song that tells a story, but this, in my opinion, makes it a little difficult for mixing purposes. What I like to do, I explained it in the last video, but I'm probably gonna delete that, is that what you do is you set your bass at -6 or -3, wherever you feel like doing it to give yourself a little bit of headroom. So over here you can tell that I turned it down, and I like to have it at -6 for jungle and drum and bass. Maybe not drum and bass, but for jungle for sure. Jungle has a lot of elements that are very like kicky and snary and lots of stuff going on, so there's not much space for that bass. So you're gonna have the bass sitting at around -6, kind of almost in the background, but at the same volume as everything. It's hard to explain, but just, yeah. Other music like dubstep and probably drum and bass, you can get away with more, like a louder bass, probably at -3 or whatever. Anyways, the idea here is that you set this to -6 or -3, and you're gonna leave it there, and that becomes your anchor. Hopefully you can hear me. Yes, you can. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna mute myself again and start kind of mixing this a bit more into -6, because I just took some wave shaper off of it, so it lost some volume. So I'm gonna mix it down a little bit more. And then unfortunately, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out this second part, because it's the exact same bass. Nothing actually changes. It just gets louder and then quieter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete it and replace it with the regular one. And if I need to, I can kind of automate this to do the same effect, but just so that I have more control over it. At the same time, I'm going to remove this and see if the person who made this cares. You know, this could have been an artistic decision, but at the same time, is it one that can be sacrificed? You know, do we need the bass changing in volume? I don't know. We'll see about it. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna throw this, excuse me, I'm gonna throw this right where this was. Sorry for everybody's earbuds. Sorry about that. What the hell? Ah, Curtis. Curtis, you left the master on. This video sucks. What the fuck? Okay guys, we're coming up on 20 minutes here. This is sounding pretty good. The process is happening a lot faster because I've already mixed most of this, so it's all minute changes. Part of my process, so like I already explained, we're getting the bass down to -6. That's my anchor. Then the second most important things to me are the kick and the snare mix. The snare mix is usually actually a break for me. I don't separate the snares from the hi-hats type situation. But if I'm blessed and I have that opportunity, I do. But most important things, sub, then the kick, then the break, and then if I have overhead elements like crashes or what's it called, rides, those go in the overhead mix. So it's drum and bass or it's jungle. So in my opinion, the drums and the bass are the most important things, and we're gonna keep everything else in the background and living part of the song. Once all that gets kind of mixed the way that I like, it's not perfect, it goes over to the master and we turn on Maximus. My Maximus has some very interesting settings. Feel free, if you use FL Studio, ask me for this setup and just add it onto your songs and it will instantly add 3 LUFS. If you don't know what LUFS are, it's kind of a way of determining loudness compared to decibels. Decibels is a exponential scale that, for example, like 50 decibels to 55 decibels is really hard to get to, whereas like 10 to 40 decibels is very easy. It gets harder to get louder as you get higher up in decibels. With LUFS, you get an idea of, like, I don't know what the fuck it is, the quietness to the loudness ratio bullshit. Either way, we're looking for -5 LUFS is right now the industry standard. I can get you to -4, -3, but you start to lose some quality. But we are in the loudness wars. You want your stuff as loud as possible. So this is my Maximus preset. Feel free to copy it, but also feel free to ask me for it. I can just send it to you over as a template. What's going on here is we got the low being pre-boost by 6, and the post at normal, and then we have this kind of little thing here. I have no idea what any of this means. I copied this template from FL Studio themselves, and it's worked fantastic for me. Like, my entire sauce comes down to this plugin called Maximus. So if you're interested, please take a look. This will make your stuff super loud. But anyways, so everything gets like here's the bands. Everything gets like a 6 decibel boost. And sometimes it can help. I have a whole setup, but to turn your pre-master down so it's not peaking in the red, and then you can master based off of that. Or if you're a little bit more crazy like me, I'll send it in the red and I'll cut some things off instead of bringing things up. It depends on what kind of style you like to use. We'll see here how it goes. Pretty much once I turn on Maximus, if you look in here, we're gonna have 2 waveforms. One's gonna be the pre, and then the post is gonna hit 0. pretty much. That's what we're looking for. So the end result is going to be at 0. Okay? So I'm going to mute myself again, and we're going to do about 2 more minutes of mixing, and then I'm probably going to call this video 8. Okay? Okay, so as you can see, this is my pre-signal, and then it gets boosted up to about 0. Okay? Okay, so this is always a process. I would like to say that we're in a pretty good spot. I'm playing my speakers at 50, which is where I like to keep them as kind of like my baseline test for how everything's gonna sound. I think we're in a good spot. This is always for me. I'm gonna take this, go car test it. Oh my god, how does the snare sound? Did those get cut off too much? Did things get distorted too much to where it's audible? Things like that. This is a trial and error process. It's not going to come out perfect. If I send you a master and you don't like it, let me know. I'll fix it, or we'll find a way to, I can help you master your own stuff. Because something I found being enjoyable is mastering my own stuff. If I send it to somebody to master it, they always do stuff where they're going to mix it, change some kicks, and then send me back a product that's a little bit different than what I sent to them. And I don't like that. So if I do that to you, let me know. Here, I took some creative liberty adding some kicks. So, you know, if the person who made this doesn't like all that extra kick and wanted it to be different, they'll let me know, hopefully. But yeah, I think it sounds pretty good. Right quick, I'll do a sound test between the master and what I have. And yeah, it's definitely not perfect. It could use some tweaking. Everything gets tweaked, especially to fit within Maximus. This is kind of my final thing, and I start like really honing in and being like, okay, I can bring the kick down, okay, the bass can come up, etc. This combined with Span, real quick, I'll show you Span. Span is a free plugin that's pretty much just like any other visualizer, except it's a bit more, it's bigger, it's prettier. You can add, I made mine like brown or whatever you would call it, as khaki. So you can modify it a little bit, that's pretty cool. What I was told by this dude, Chef Womp, that taught me how to do this, is that we're kind of aiming for the top of everything. You know what I mean? So let's see if we got there. Okay, that's kind of exactly what you want it to look like. Is barely touching the top over here and kind of filling out the rest of the space. Of course, we're going to drop off towards the end with the highs. That's fine. That's normal. But that looks really good. So before I go, I'm going to do a before and after so we get an idea. And thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully the shorter version helped a bit instead of having to watch me do all this bullshit. And then combined with hopefully my audio doesn't glitch out as much as it did in the last video. But anyways, thanks guys. Appreciate you watching. Okay, and then we'll do my mix with the master. Okay, cool. Sounds pretty good. I just took the drum out of this section to see if that changes it. We'll listen one more time, and then I'm done. Okay, I think that sounds pretty sick. Thanks for sticking around. Hopefully this shorter video kind of helped things move along a bit quicker. I'm at 30 minutes. That sounds perfect to me. it would be shorter if I could make it. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one. Let me know if you like the mix. Let me know if you like the process. Let me know if you want to send me anything. Cool. All right. Bye.